Hey, welcome everyone to a movement morning flow mini. I'll be practicing with Kathy Cormier. We've got a 25-minute practice today for you. Just hammer home the point that to do yoga doesn't have to be a huge time commitment. Something you could do every morning. We're doing 25 minutes, but it could even be 5 minutes. Just to stretch, to connect, start to breathe. And it's just a nice way to start your day. Anyway, here's Kathy Cormier. Are you ready, Kathy?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Also just proving that you can be slow.
Right, there's no hurry to get to the mat. I used to push people out of the way to climb down the stairs to my gym, and I realized maybe I was missing the point of the practice. But I didn't actually do that. But I was getting anxious that they were moving so slowly, and I had to get to class on time. Anyway, you're here. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good, thank you.
You look good.
Thank you.
All right, so we'll start with what I call the 3-3-3. So let's find our breath first. So I'll invite you to narrow your stance, big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Excellent way to connect with your center. I'll invite you to bring your hands to your heart, a light press of your thumb against your sternum as you line up each finger. Softening your eyes. If you're comfortable, closing your eyes. And starting our practice, just watching as our breath flows in and out. Arriving here on our practice, on our mats, ready for a morning practice. Just watching as our breath flows in and out. And if you take the time to do this right off the bat in the morning, it just sets the day on a nice tone. From a place of just watching your breath, I'll invite you to shape your breath, finding a long, slow inhalation, followed by an equally long, slow exhalation. As you breathe in, I'll invite you to find a full body breath, bringing the air to the top of your chest, the base of your belly, filling up each side waist, filling up both front and back planes of your bodies. As you breathe out, I'll encourage you to draw the low belly in and up, engaging your abdominals, concurrently lifting the kidneys in and up, back abdominals, squeezing a little more air out, also providing lots of structural support for our back as we move through these shapes and sequences. To this deeper, fuller breath, finding the Ujjayi breath, the victorious breath, slightly constricting the base of your throat, adding a slight sound and feel to your breath. And as we flow through our practice, letting the slight sound and feel be a focus for your practice. And it can be so slight and such a slight sound that only you can hear it. Now taking the tip of the tongue to the hard palate just behind the teeth, keeping that connection throughout the practice, keeping our jaws relaxed and connecting front and back planes of our bodies. And finally, with your lips closed, adding a slight smile to your face, opening up the front of your throat so your breath has lots of room to circulate, refresh, and revitalize. Keeping all this open in the eyes and hands by your side. I call this the 3-3-3. Easy to remember. We'll do 3 arms. We'll do 3 half sun salves, and then we'll do 3 modified sun salutations. So inhaling arms up and over the head for 1. Exhaling arms back down. 2 more times like this. Inhaling arms up. Exhaling arms down. Inhaling arms up. Exhaling arms down. I'll ask you to go sideways for the second 3. Inhaling arms up. On the exhale, leading with the heart as you fold. Take a breath to arc the back as you lift chin and tail. On the exhale, rounding the spine as you fold again. Inhaling arms out to the side, moving towards a neutral spine, back of the head in line with the sacrum, arms up and then overhead. Exhaling, standing tall. Second one just like the first. Inhaling up. Exhaling over. Take a breath to arc the back. On the exhale, arching the spine as we fold. Inhaling, moving towards neutral spine or flat back, arms out to the side and then overhead. Exhaling, standing tall. 1 more to go. Inhaling up. Exhaling over. Take a breath to find length. On the exhale, folding again. Inhaling back up. Exhaling, standing tall. First of the third 3-3-3, we'll do a sun sal A. I will not cue vinyasa. Inhaling arms out to the side and then overhead. On the exhale, finding your forward fold. Awesome. Inhaling, arcing the back. Exhaling, arching the spine. Yeah, try to find that arch first. And then grounding down and stepping it back to down dog. And holding your down dog for 5 or 6 breaths. As we hold down dog, I'll invite you to walk your dog as you bend one leg deeply and then the other. Stretching it out, just checking it out. How does your body feel this morning? What feels tight? What feels right? What feels somewhere in between? From a place of movement, moving back towards stillness. Long arms, long legs, long spine, deep full breath. Despite the lack of overt movement, you're still breathing, your heart's still beating, your mind's still moving. And by keeping that focus on your breath, finding a little more space between each breath, each beat of the heart, each thought. Tail end of a breath, bending the knees ever so slightly as you lift your tailbone just a little bit higher. More space in the low back, you can feel that. And then looking between the hands as you mindfully make your way to the front of your mat. Take a breath to find length. Exhaling, folding. On the inhale, arms out to the side and then overhead. Exhaling, standing tall. So I'm going to ask you to do a modified push-up to the calf for sun sal number 3. Sun sal number 2. Inhaling, arms out to the side and then overhead. On the exhale, finding your forward fold. Nice. Take a breath to arc the back, hands can cap the knees. On the exhale, arching the spine, catching the back of the shins, really take it deep there. And now grounding on down and finding a push-up using your knees. Yeah, so step it back. You want to find your knees, Kathy. Yeah, there you go. I want to modify it. Come all the way down. Unfurling the feet, the hips stay down for a cobra pose, lifting the heart. And then pushing on back, finding your child's pose as you send sit bones back to the heels. Holding the child's pose for 2 or 3 breaths. Breathing into back plane of the body. After that second or third breath, I'll invite you to tuck the toes and stretch it back to down dog. And holding that for another breath or 2. Tail end of a breath, bending the knees ever so slightly as you lift the tailbone just a little bit higher. And then looking between the hands as you mindfully make your way to the front of your mat. Take a breath to arc the back. That's it. Yeah, dip that mid back. On the exhale, arching the spine into fold. Really tuck the chin. You'll notice a nice stretch in your low back. On the inhale, arms out to the side and then overhead. Exhaling, hands by your side. And on this third of the 3-3-3, I'll invite you to do a traditional vinyasa. So inhaling, arms out to the side and then overhead. On the exhale, a big forward fold. Inhaling, arcing the back. Really feel that arc. That's it. On the exhale, really feeling the arch and really tuck that chin. Yeah, nice. Notice how you feel that stretch. And now finding your push-up as you ground down through the hands. And this is a traditional chaturanga. Elbows shave the ribs. Not too low. Feel free to use the knees or not as you roll over and find your up dog, lifting those hips. And then pushing back to down dog. And holding for 3 to 5 long slow breaths. Nice. And again, as we hold our down dog a little longer, feeling free to either hold it in stillness, seeing what arises, or maybe adding a little swing, a little sway, maybe walking that dog from side to side. It's your practice, doing what's right and good for you. From a place of movement, moving back towards stillness, long arms, long legs, long spine, deep full breath. Tail end of a breath, bending the knees ever so slightly as you lift the tailbone just a little bit higher, more space in the low back, and then looking between the hands as you mindfully make your way forward. Take a breath to find length. On the exhale, folding. Inhaling, rising on up. On the exhale, hands by your side. And I'll ask you to face the camera as you bring hands to heart, a light press with your thumb against your sternum, as you line up each finger. Without shortening the neck, a slight tuck of the chin. Coming back to an internal focus, watching as our breath flows in and out. And then lifting the chin, hands by your side. That was the 3-3-3. That took about 7 or 8 minutes. We could do that every single morning. Continuing on, let's work some sun sal Bs in. We've still got a little bit more time here. Going sideways, I'll invite you to find your chair pose, knees over toes, hands overhead. Exhaling, taking it lower. Inhaling, rising on up, glutes engaged, a little back bend at the top. On the exhale, a big swan dive over. Take a breath to find length, arcing the back. Exhaling, really arching the spine before you ground on down and make your way back to down dog as you will. I love working with Kathy. She moves so deliberately. Really easy to see each point in the sequence. Flow style, big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Right leg high to the sky, high on the left toes. Looking between the hands, bringing that right foot through, spinning the back heel down, arms out to the side and then overhead. You could always find the hips to find your balance. And then on your next exhale, back to low lunge, and from low lunge, back to down dog. As you will, you can always skip the push-ups. The idea is to move through space with grace, connecting with your feeling body. From down dog, second side, big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Left leg high to the sky, high on the right toes. Looking between the hands, bringing that left foot through. Spinning the back heel down, arms out to the side and then overhead. And then riding your breath back to low lunge. And from low lunge, back to down dog, as you will. Working with your breath. Yeah, awesome. Nice modifications, Kathy. And again, if we can't treat ourselves properly, why would we expect anyone else to do that? So learning how to take care of ourselves, how to love ourselves, and a morning yoga practice is a great way to do that, in my opinion. I'm a yoga teacher, so I'm biased. From down dog, long, smooth breath in. Long, smooth breath out. Tail end of that breath, bending the knees ever so slightly as we lift the tailbone a little higher. And then looking between the hands as you either step or maybe you jump to the front of your mat. Awesome, beautiful jump. Take a breath to find length. On the exhale, folding it again. On the inhale, back to our chair, knees over toes, hands overhead. Exhaling, taking it lower. Inhaling, rising on up. On the exhale, neutral spine, hands by your side. Let's add the hip opener. Inhaling into our chair, knees over toes, hands overhead. Exhaling, taking it lower. Inhaling, rising on up. On the exhale, a big swan dive over. Take a breath to find length. On the exhale, folding again. And then grounding on down and making your way back to down dog as you will. Either cycling through vinyasa or stretching straight back. Yogi's choice. Second side, big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Left leg high. Oh, we forgot to do the hip opener, right?
We haven't done it yet. We said we were going to do it.
We're still on our first side. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, no, we're on our first side.
We're on our first side, all right. So, right leg high, high on the left toes. Keeping the right shoulder just as it is, twisting from the ribs as we stack the hips. Now bending that leg, opening up that hip. And then looking between the hands, bringing that right foot through, spinning the back heel down, arms out to the side and then overhead. Inhaling. And then on the exhale, back to low lunge. And from low lunge, back to down dog, as you will. Take your time, find your flow, follow your breath. Which is sometimes hard to do in a directed class. Second side. Big toes touch, heels slightly apart, high on the right toes. Keeping that left shoulder just as it is, twisting from the ribs as we stack the hips, lifted leg straight. Now bending that leg, opening up that hip. And then looking between the hands, bringing that left foot through, spinning the back heel down, arms out to the side, and then overhead. And then on the exhale, back to low lunge, and from low lunge, back to down dog, as you will. Awesome. And then holding your down dog for 3 to 5 long, slow breaths, or maybe 6. It depends on how you feel. Strong, strong, strong in those arms, long, long, long through those legs, long through all sides of the neck as you look back towards your navel. And if you want to give your head a little shake, why not? From down dog, long, smooth breath in. Long, smooth breath out. Tail into that breath, looking between your hands as you mindfully make your way to the front of your mat. Take a breath to find length. On the exhale, folding. On the inhale, back to our chair pose, knees over toes, hands overhead. Exhaling, taking it lower. On the inhale, rising on up, a little back bend at the top, glutes engaged to support that back bend. And then on the exhale, neutral spine, hands by your side. I'll ask you to face the camera, Kathy, as you bring hands to heart. A light press of the thumb against your sternum as you line up each finger. And now I'll invite you to add an isometric engagement as we press the palms together, elbows wide, a tuck of the tail, a tuck of the chin, connecting with the strength of your center. Lifting the chin tall through the crown, hands by our side. So let's go wide with the feet. We're going to work the bellows breath here. So we're going to push out with the hands, inhaling. Exhaling, we're going to circle the hands around to support the low back, fingers face down. On the inhale, finding a little bit of a back bend. On the exhale, releasing the low back, arms out, behind, up and over the top as we take a big floppy forward fold. On an inhale, hands trace the legs and we bring hands onto thighs. And we're going to stay down here. And we're going to have short, sharp exhalations 40 times. So big breath in. And then last 10. Squeeze it all out. Tuck the chin. Come on up. Hands find the heart. Lifting the chin, softening the belly, letting the big breath come in. And just notice how your belly feels after that round of bellows breath. And from here, I'll invite you to come onto your back. And finding your Shavasana.
Yay.
Yeah. Do a long, slow roll down, finding length in your spine. Nice. When you get down, I'll suggest a full body stretch, arms overhead, low back lifts. And then keeping the low back relaxed. As you sweep your hands by your sides, the palms face up. I know there's toys around. Tip of the tongue is now neutral in the mouth. A slight part to the lips, but still breathing in and out through your nose. And before you let your attention go soft, just scanning your body, seeing how you feel. Just checking in my opinion, a big part of the yoga practice, or actually the main point of the yoga practice, isn't the stretch, it isn't the movement, it isn't even the breath. It's this connection with ourselves. How do we feel? And I'm going to ring these yoga bells 3 times. And I'll invite you to move your mind before you move your body. Bring your attention back to your breath, watching as it flows in and out. From a place of just watching your breath, I'll invite you to shape your breath. And we're going to vary that ratio between the inhale and the exhale as we find a long, slow breath in, followed by an even longer, slower breath out. Long, smooth breaths in. Longer, smoother, slower breaths out. Keeping this more relaxing breath, rippling fingers and toes, inviting more prana, more life force into our bodies. Inviting that life force in towards center as we gently circle wrists and ankles. Adding a little shimmer of the shoulders, a little shimmer of the hips, connecting with your own innate sense of well-being, whatever feels right and good for you. Now pressing your back into the mat to support the action of the legs. As we draw one knee into the heart, the other knee follows. Hands find the shins. And then using your thighs to gently massage your low belly, front to back, side to side. Little circles, whatever feels right and good for you. This pose is called Apanasana, a great pose for digestion as you digest the fruits of your practice. Keeping the neck relaxed, reaching back with a hand to lift and tuck the chin. Chin stays tucked as the hand comes back to the shin. And if you need to catch the back of the thighs on this, feel free as you start to rock yourself front to back, back to front, massaging your spine. And then popping on up, finding a cross-legged sit, and I'll ask you to face the camera. As we sit grounded down through our sits bones, I'll invite you to bring your hands onto your knees, pulling back with your hands to settle the shoulders. Long through all sides of the neck with a slight tuck of the chin. 5 fingers of one hand find the ground. The palm of the other hand faces the sky. Ending our practice as we started, watching as our breath flows in and out. From this place of breath awareness, I invite you to bring your hands to your hearts and bow, thanking yourself for practicing yoga and offering our practice out to each other and to the world. The light within us honors and respects the light within you. And in this light, we are one. Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you, Kathy, for the morning mini.
Thank you.
Thank you at home for watching with us. And yeah, the idea is that you don't have to take a huge chunk of time to get your yoga in, and just making it a regular part of your day. Thank you so much.
Thank you.